Do you feel the vibes?
Hello everyone and welcome back my sexy subscribers or my newbies. In today's video we will be doing the very first loot from a week at X Monster. In this series I will be killing a specific monster for a week, gathering all the loot into one tab, selling it off, and seeing that juicy profit we made at the end of the week. Now, some things to note about this series is that there will be no specific amount of hours during a given week that I will put into a monster. So just to be clear, this is how it's different from like a loot at 10 hours at X monster video, because some of those videos are fine. It's just killing specific monsters for 10 hours I found can be absolutely horrible. So you'll see a video about 10 hours at X monster and you'll go to do it yourself and you'll be like, why the hell am I doing this? This monster sucks. I don't want to camp it. So hopefully this video will help players gauge whether they can kill a monster for an extended amount of time, because let's face it, some monsters simply suck to kill for a long period of time. And another thing to note with this video is that this video is going to semi-correlate with my real life. And what I mean by that is that when I have a busy week, the video might only have a few hours put into it. And when I have a really free week, the video might have a few hours put into it. And hopefully these videos will help players gauge what kind of week they're having IRL, and then help them determine what kind of monster they want to kill in game to be most efficient. Because let's face it, a lot of us who still play RS are getting older, and that means our responsibilities IRL are getting heavier and heavier. And for those of us who just returned to college like myself, we can definitely feel that the free hours we once had during the summer in our youth are just not there to put into the game anymore. So for us, it's really just a matter of how efficient can we be given the few hours we have during the week. But regardless of all that, let's hop into the stats of the video. So for today's video, I had a lot of free time. It was one of the last few weeks of the summer, and I would say I spent around 15 hours or so killing Revenants. So as I just stated in today's video, the monster we're going to be killing for the week was Revenants. In my opinion, it's one of the most broken monsters in the game at the moment. And it's definitely worth killing if you have the requirements. The reason I think it's so broken is because, as I've said in past videos, is the requirements are so low. You could come here with 80 range and still make a similar amount of money to me, even though I have 93 range. And range is really the only requirement you need, because you don't use any other combat style against Revenants, and they can't hit you because you have the Revenant bracelet. So it's super AFK, and the drop table is amazing. There are a shitload of PKers though, so you have to watch out for that. But as long as you're paying moderate attention, you can teleport out before they teleblock you. Also, I just put this clip in because this is some absolute garbage. RuneLite told me I was done with this task. Then I went to the Slayer Master and went to get a new assignment, and then it just said I have 2 more all of a sudden on the tracker, and I had to come all the way back to this stupid cave and kill 2 more of these monsters. Right now I'm just trying to grind out some Slayer. I have future videos coming out with the skill I'm grinding. My first 99 skill, we're almost there. That will be out later this week. And without further ado, let's get into the nitty gritty, the fine details of this video. And on my next video, I won't do this long of an intro, as you guys now get the general gist of all the videos that will be coming out, and hopefully those videos come out soon. In my inventory, I usually bring a 1-click telly. In this case, I bring a royal seed, 3 to 4 ranging pots, 1 prayer pot, and a burning amulet. In my setup for Revenants are the standard, a blowpipe, a black D hide set, an enchanted salve amulet, a god coif, snakeskin boots, archer's ring, Ava accumulator, and of course, Revenant bracelets. I'm about to open up the loot tab, which as you can see is valued at 11.5 mil. One thing to note is that the only items which aren't in here are the runes. They are my main tab, and I'm going to be selling them too. And with them, I think we get around to 12 mil and around 12.5 mil maybe. And in my opinion, I got super unlucky this week's at Revs. If you spend as much 15 hours at Revs or a week at Revs, you can probably guarantee that you will get more loot than this. I didn't get a single unique drop during my entire week there. I mean, I guess I got the crystals and the magic seed drop, which are both rare, I believe, but they're horrible drops. The crystals are only worth like 150k each or something like that, and the magic seeds, I guess, are worth like 850k or something like that, which isn't bad. But considering this, like the worst statues, basically that much, like all those together, it is absolutely insane how bad I got. But I guess after the rework, the drop rate for the unique items probably got a lot lower, considering they added in the unique items, which lowered the drop rate of the statues, which was really when I've done Revenants in the past where a lot of the money came from. Another thing to note is that the few items at the very end of the tab are things I picked up from PKers and people who had died, and I figured that if you're spending a week at Revenants, it is safe to assume that you will pick up some random PK items too, so I included them in the final cash stack. Now, while I'm selling this off, I just want to talk about two more things for this video. I only killed the bottom two Revenants, which are the Revenant Orc and the Revenant Dark Beast. Now, if you're killing the Dragon in the night, I believe they drop a higher per hour profit of items, so you can probably expect a greater amount of money. But the thing is that you won't be in the instant teleport zone, so a bunch of PKers will be looking to TB you all the time, and I just don't think it's worth it. But I do see people who do it, especially people who have the bow, the new bow, which is insane against Revenants, and I would recommend picking it up as it will increase your profits greatly, but it does cost quite a bit. The last thing I want to note is that during the shooting of this video, I had 93 range. I leveled midway through to 94, and I didn't keep track of my total XP, but if I had to take a guess, I was getting 40k XP an hour, which isn't bad, but over 15 hours, it definitely did stack up. So I guess the last thing I'll talk about in this video before I close out is supplies. You really don't use a ton of supplies at Revenants. That's why I think they're so great, is that the entry level, as I said, is so low, and the supply cost, or the initial barrier, like to enter the field, the initial cost to enter the field is so low, because really ranging pots are dirt cheap, and you don't even really need to bring a prayer pot. I do, just in case I feel like using prayer to beat out someone else on a kill, but you really don't even need a prayer pot. So you just need like 20k, maybe 30k worth of, like, for an inventory. So the supplies is absolutely insane. I guess you do use Zulrah scales, and I think I used about a couple million Zulrah scales, and I use adamant darts. Some people use rune. I wouldn't use rune, especially if you're rebuilding like myself. But I use adamant darts. I use like 3,000 in the week, so a couple 100k there too. But yeah, you really don't use a lot of supplies at Zulrah, and almost, like, I would say 70% of your cash stack at the end of the week will just be straight profit, which is pretty insane, especially when you compare it to bosses like Zulrah and Vorkath, which are, I guess, can be slightly more money if you don't have the bow. If you have the bow, they're very similar, except your expenses at Zulrah and Vorkath are way higher. And I'm about to be done selling everything off, and as you can see, we are here with the final cash stack, around 12.5 mil. And of course, I have that glory in my inventory because I'm a lazy piece of crap and I didn't feel like uncharging it. So I guess add 40k to the final loot count, but I think it's sort of inconsequential at this point. Some final things to note before I just end this video real quick are that Revenants are super AFK, and they don't even hit you, and they drop stupid good loot. Like, I can't believe they add this monster into the game like this, but hey, that's just my opinion. But if they're going to add something like this into the game, you might as well use and abuse it, and just camp the absolute hell out of it. So for people who are back at college and don't have a lot of time to play during the week like myself, this is the perfect moneymaker. And as long as you can avoid those pesky PKers who usually kill you for like 50k and think they're epic because, you know, 5 of their friends stacked you with all specs and they spam whatever crappy clan chat they're in, then you're fine. And with that being said, I'm Namejamie, and until next time,